Hi everyone, I'm here today to do my February reading wrap up, and somehow I managed to read the grand total of 8 books in the month of February, despite it being a really busy month, although it's not quite as impressive as it sounds when I give you this rundown. As 3 of the books were graphic novels, one of them was a children's picture book, and then the other 4 were all audiobooks. So I actually didn't read any proper novels last month, but never mind, busy month, what can you do? So I just want to give you a quick rundown of the books I actually read during the month of February and give you an indication as to whether you might like them or not, whether you'd want to pick them up yourself, and just my thoughts and general feelings on each book. So the first book I finished was Southern Cross Volume 1, and that was by Becky Cloonan, and this is a graphic novel that I received from the publisher via NetGalley in return for an honest review, and I gave this book 3 stars. I feel like this is one of the rare occasions where the book was actually affected by how busy I was. I wasn't able to just sit and read it solidly, which should be quite easy to do with a graphic novel normally, and so I really didn't give it quite the attention it deserved, and I think my general enjoyment of the book suffered somewhat therefore. So if I had had the free time and been able to read it all in 1 or even 2 sittings, I feel like I might have enjoyed it a lot more, so it could possibly have even been a 4-star otherwise. The plot for this graphic novel covers a young woman named Alex, and she hitches a ride on a spaceship as she wants to discover what has happened to her sister. Her sister is named Amber, and she supposedly died in circumstances that don't seem to sort of add up. And so Alex just wants to do a little bit of investigating, a little bit of poking around, just to make sure that the truth is out, if you will. So all in all, I really enjoyed that graphic novel, and I will definitely be picking up the second volume when I can. Next we have Starve Volume 1 by Brian Wood, and I've got to say this is one of my favourite graphic novels that I've picked up for a long time. I also got this one off NetGalley in return for an honest review, and honestly I absolutely loved it. 5 stars all the way, and I really am so desperate to get my hands on Volume 2 when it comes out. And this graphic novel was really sort of nothing like I've ever read before, to be honest. I really enjoyed the style of it. It was about a guy who gets stuck in some sort of like cooking competition for a TV show, but beyond that it's actually a really twisted and messed up one in places, and of course things get quite dirty towards the end of the book, and I'm really just super excited to see where this series is going to go with it. I think this series could really start going places in a couple of series time and hopefully be the one that everyone's talking about, because I loved it. I think I like it more than Saga, and that's saying something. Then the next book I finished was Theodore Boone by John Grisham, and this is the first book in the, I don't know whether it's just called the Theodore Boone series or what it is, or the Boone series, but it's his YA series, and it's a crime mystery just like his adult stuff would be. And I gave this book 4 stars. I think overall it was a wonderful introduction for the younger end of the young adult spectrum to actually get into sort of crime novels and understanding how a court works and things like that. However, I didn't always feel like the character actually felt his age, and that was my only real issue with it, really. I sometimes could have easily have just assumed the character was in his 20s for how he was acting. That said, I definitely enjoyed it, and I will definitely be continuing on with the series. Then the next audiobook I finished was The Enchanted Wood by Enid Blyton, and this was one of my absolute favourites as a child, and I absolutely adored it and absolutely flew through it, and of course gave it 5 stars. If you've not ever heard of this series, what? But yeah, this series is about a group of young children who are brothers and sisters, and they move to the Enchanted Wood, and in this wood, which is quite magical in itself, is a very magical tree called the Faraway Tree, and lots of strange people live in this tree. There's characters named Moonface because his face is like a moon. There's a character named Silky. There's a woman called Dame Washalot who just does washing and makes all the water come down the tree. Then there is Mr. What's his name, because no one can remember his name. Then there's the old saucepan man, and oh, this book is just so special to me, so special. And at the very top of the tree are loads of different lands, and some of these lands aren't quite so good. There's the land of topsy-turvy, where everything ends up upside down. There is so many lands, and so many wonderful lands as well, like the land of birthdays, the land of take what you want. Honestly, this book just sparks so much imagination in my head. I just I love this series. It's always just been absolutely spectacular for me. So because I flew through that audiobook in about a day and a half, I then decided that I should pick up the second book in the series, which is The Magic Faraway Tree, which I also gave 5 stars to. And in this one, the children's cousin Rick comes to visit and they just show him the Enchanted Wood, the Faraway Tree. They go in more adventures, meet more wonderful characters and just have a fabulous time. And of course I gave this one 5 stars too. So then I read another NetGalley book, and this one's a children's picture book called The Storm, and that is by Akiko Miyakoshi. I'm sorry. And I received this book from NetGalley from the publisher in return for an honest review, and I must say I'm so glad I picked this one up. I thought it was great. The art was just, the illustrations particularly were just absolutely stunning, and I just feel like it was a nice different book. Children's books can always be quite sort of samey, whether they're about whether they're about animals or whether they're about just playing with other children or just games, that kind of thing. And you do get some weather ones, but they're not usually about the storm. And I just thought that this was absolutely beautiful and just really different and eye-catching, and I hope it does really well. And then I couldn't resist any longer. I picked up another audiobook, and that is of course the third book in the Enchanted Wood series by Enid Blyton, The Folk of the Faraway Tree. And in this edition, the children have a visitor called Connie, and she is a horrible little girl to begin with, absolutely horrible. She doesn't believe in the Enchanted Wood, she doesn't believe in the Faraway Tree, she doesn't believe in all the characters that the children have met or the lands. She doesn't believe in anything magical at all. She thinks everything is just as it is, and that there can't be anything magical out there. And so the children obviously take her up to meet Moonface and everyone as soon as they possibly can, and after a while, and it does take a while, but after a while she starts to actually believe that what is going on in front of her is actually real. And with time, everyone grows to love her, and she grows to love everyone, and it's just a wonderful, another just wonderful story, and full of adventure, full of nerve-wracking moments in this one too, because something happens, and it's just, I don't have words for how much I love this series. Of course, I also give this one 5 stars. I think every single person in the world should read this book, and every single child should be read it as a child. I just can't give this series enough praise, to be honest. And the final book I read in the month of February was Octopus Pie Volume 1 by Meredith Gran. And this is another one that I got off NetGalley from the publisher in return for an honest review. And I was really looking forward to this book, and I thought it was going to be a great time, as it says it will be about crazed childhood rivals and the discomfort of exes and friendship and all sort of crazy stuff like that, and that there would be some humour in there. And I didn't like this book one bit. I gave it 1 star. I struggled to actually finish it. I got to the point where I was just skim reading, and through skim reading I discovered that I was right to skim read, because there was never anything in the future pages that actually caught my eye and made me think, oh, I want to be reading this properly. Never. I just didn't enjoy it all. It's really not my cup of tea. I didn't really like the art, and the story was just dull to me. Normally I would try and find something, anything good to say about a book, but I just really couldn't with this one. I'm really sorry. Don't let it put you off reading it. It might end up being your cup of tea, so do your research before picking this book up. But as I said, it wasn't for me. So thank you very much for watching this wrap up. I haven't yet filmed video reviews for many, if any, of these books, just because I was so busy in February, but there will eventually be individual reviews up for these books. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more bookish videos from me, book reviews, that kind of thing. And I will see you very soon. Bye bye!